Most agents think the secret to growth is more leads, but what it actually is less chaos, because when your systems are broken, more leads just get lost and just breaks the system even faster. So today I'm going to be joined by not only an AI legend, but a top Denver realtor named Adam Gillespie. And he is a Denver agent. He's known for turning, complex CRMs and AI tools into predictable profits. And so if you want to predict your business, this is going to be the interview for you. He's not just talking about tools, he's showing how to exactly make them work together so your business runs even when you're not at your desk. And we all want that. We want to replicate ourselves so we can do more. And here's the crazy part. He'll walk you through the exact automations that save him 15 to 20 hours a week. That one insight alone can change the way you run your real estate business. So, hey, look, if you're tired of feeling like your business owns you and you want my help or Adam's help setting up your own control system like he has shown you in this interview, click the first link in the description below and let's build the version of your predictable, systemized business together. Now, let's get into it with Adam and his playbook and see how he has built these machines that run on precision and not panic. Let's go. This is the man, the AI guru himself. He's going to drop some massive value bombs on you. Yes, he is a rock star, but he is also the AI guru that you want in your business to make sure you systematize, automate, and you can twin yourself more or less to help yourself scale even faster. So Adam, thank you for joining me, man. Appreciate you being here so much. Ready to drop some massive value for these guys.
Hell yeah, Alex. Glad to be here, dude. Pumped to drop as much value as I can without, going off the deep end and taking you guys on a too long of a journey.
Oh, no, it's all good, man. Because honestly, they can just pause and take notes, which I highly advise you guys do. Take
Yeah.
notes because he's gonna have some value. But Adam, before we get too in the tactical realm, why don't you just give like a 60-second version of like how you got into real estate and kind of any initial problems that you encountered, and then
Okay.
how'd you overcome those?
Yeah, so quick overview. I failed my way into real estate. Thought I was going to be a rock star way back when and dropped out of high school to pursue a music career. Quickly, well, not too quickly, actually. In my mid 30s, I finally realized that I better go get a real job. And at that point, I was at a crossroads in life. I could either go get a job at a front desk somewhere because I have no college education, no high school diploma, make very little money and struggle, or I could figure this entrepreneur stuff out. So I did that, actually went into general contracting with my brother-in-law. Grew our company pretty quick in about a year and a half. Decided I hated it more than anything in the world. So I woke up one morning at like 3 o'clock in the morning in February of 2017 and signed up for real estate school and never looked back, dude. So
That's
I did
great.
that, and dude, it was wild, man. Everybody thought I was nuts. They're like, "What are you doing, dude?" Because the business was successful. We were doing good. We had like 25 employees, and I just put it all to bed. I was like, "Nah, you can have it. Best of luck. I have to do something that's individual to me." Being in the band for all those years with 6 members in the band, I just got sick and tired of depending on other people to make the dream work. So
Mhm.
real estate seemed to really fit that for me because at the end of the day, if I fail at this, like you can't point any fingers. You know what I mean? Like you either did the work or you didn't do the work. So did that. Had a real hard time. As you get into real estate, everyone's like, "Hey, contact your sphere of influence." Well, my sphere of influence never viewed me as a professional other than on stage with the guitar. So when they saw I got into real estate, they're like, "Ugh, like I don't know if this dude's really the guy for me on that," because my reputation was that of a partier and stuff like that. So I had to really kind of start from the ground up, almost like a new market. And it was a struggle, dude. It was a struggle. So I realized real quickly that marketing myself via the same way we did at the band online was probably going to be my ticket to success. So I started focusing heavily on the online marketing, generating Facebook ads and stuff like that. And one thing kind of led after another. And next thing you know, I'm like almost what, 8, 9 years into this thing now, and here we
Nice.
are. So
Heck yeah.
yeah.
So what were one of the like some of the biggest struggles you initially faced, getting into the production side besides people not taking you seriously? But I also want to dive into that, like how'd you overcome that? Because I think a lot of younger agents struggle with that kind of identity crisis, right? But
Yeah.
how'd you
Yeah.
overcome some of those initial hurdles?
Yeah, so it was really lead gen. You're right. Like not having a sphere of influence that I could depend on and nobody wanting to take me seriously. It was like I had to figure out a way to market myself to where I could still position myself as like an authority in real estate. And luckily for the band, I learned how to market, not knowing that that would translate to real estate.
Yeah.
So just really started figuring out how to run Facebook ads and a little bit more better. Like we're so restricted as agents with the fair housing and all of that stuff. I can't really target my ads. So I kind of had to relearn how to do this. And once I started getting leads, then it was like, oh, great, I got leads. Like now, how do I convert them? So that was a struggle there. And no matter how many real estate trainings I went through the various brokerages that I was with, it was like I just didn't really get it, like
Yeah.
slow learner, I guess you could say on that. But what I think helped me overcome it was once I got into the mindset, it's like, look, dude, like, yeah, you're a new agent, but you just went through real estate school. So you already know 10 times more than the general public does. Like stop doubting yourself. Right.
Mhm.
So I had to get myself into that mindset where it was like almost like a teacher in a way, where it's like, look, most of these teachers teaching you throughout school are only one or two lessons ahead of you. Right. So that was kind of how I felt with it. So when I started getting these leads and people wanted to get on the phone with me, I just wanted to try to like exude as much confidence out of myself as I could and make them feel comfortable that I could carry them through that process. So it was actually 7 months before I got my first deal.
Okay.
When I did, it was a disaster. The guy bought from out of state. He was in Florida. I sold him a condo. He had his girlfriend look at the condo and approve everything. And we closed on it. Next thing you know, he calls me. He's like, the sink's leaking and I'm suing you and I'm suing the inspector. And I was like,
Oh
oh
my
my
goodness.
God. Like, what did I get myself into, But I just kind of figured, like, hey, this is probably just a test. I feel like the higher powers, God, whatever you want to call it, will test you if you know you're on the right path. And they're going to throw a lot of obstacles in your way. And it's how you handle those obstacles and turn those into opportunity that makes a difference. So I just kept my nose to the ground, man, kept going. Got a couple of deals, but wasn't really taken off. And then it was like, you know what? I think the best thing for me would be to join a team so I could just get some past clients. So I jumped on a Zillow team and immediately went top of the team. So I was number one on the team for the 2 years that I was there, closing an average of 24 deals a year, built my past client sphere. And by that time, I got so much experience that my friends started to take notice, right? So
Hmm.
they're like, oh man, Adam's actually doing this stuff. So
Yeah.
I just used to go around all my sphere and tell me, if you guys thought I was good at the guitar, I'm even better at real estate. And
Boom.
to be like as surprising as that sounds, like they were like, oh, like crap, like maybe he's right. So that's how I converted my sphere into wanting to use me. But it wasn't before a lot of my friends and family bought houses with other realtors. So that part stung a little bit.
Yeah, dude, I hate that. But
Oh,
you know what? That's honestly that's the nature of the business because if you're invisible to a lot of people in your sphere, or let's call your sphere your social media sphere, if you're
right,
invisible to them, um, they're not gonna call you because you're not gonna be top of mind.
right,
Right? And so one thing I think that you do very well is stay top of mind. And I notice that you have really strategic systems and automations in place to do that. So if you could kind of carry us over to more of your system knowledge and your transition to that AI knowledge, because that's what everyone wants. Um, how do you use modern AI? Don't go too heavy. And you guys, if you want, Adam's deep dive knowledge on AI. He has Apex Elite AI, which is like, I mean, I'll let you plug it because it's insane.
cool.
But yeah, so how do you use those systems to kind of transition your business into more of a systematic process?
Yeah, I think early on I realized that the CRM is everything.
Mhm.
Way back in the day, I had this job at a call center. We were doing automotive claims warranty adjudications. So I was basically the guy who denied your extended warranty on your claim on your car. And
He's not Jake from State Farm.
no, I'm not Jake for State Farm. I'm the guy you're mad at. And I hated that job. But one thing that I took from it was that everything had to go in the database. Everything, every
Yeah.
conversation, every single quote, every single part number, all of that had to go into the database. Otherwise, we were basically dead in the water. So when I got into real estate and they're like, hey, you need a CRM, for my first thought was like, what the hell's a CRM? And then I was like, oh, this is like the database. So I always treated that very, very seriously. I kind of took the same approach as the warranty company did, where it's like, this is our lifeblood, this is our heartbeat. Without this, we don't exist. And it really makes sense if you think about it, because what's Apple after? What's Google after? What's all of these tech companies are after? Our data,
Mm-hmm.
right? They take our data, they put it into a giant bank or a CRM, and then they hold on to it and it becomes valuable to people. So that was the approach I took with real estate. So as I'm generating these leads and I'm bringing them into my CRM, I'm starting to get overwhelmed. I'm like, oh my God, I got to call this guy. I got to send a text to this guy. I got to email this person. I'm doing this all manually. And I'm like, there's got to be a better way. Like, I'm lazy in nature. I want to do other things. I joined real estate like everybody else. I wanted free time. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So once I started to realize that there are automation systems in some of the more, proficient CRM systems like Lofty and, Commissions Inc. and Boomtown and all these other CRMs that I was on, I was like, oh, cool, I can automate this. So I spent a long time writing out these emails manually, putting them into automations, and then having them triggered based on how the leads are coming into my system. And that was when I started to realize, like, oh, okay, we can automate a lot of this heavy lifting on the background for lead nurturing because, like, if you're doing any online lead gen or even your sphere, people are interested, but they're not always ready. And if we depend on ourselves to remember to call and remember to send an email and a newsletter and all this other stuff, people start to fall through the cracks. So
Mm-hmm.
I did this, and then AI came out. So like November of 2022, ChatGPT 3.5 hit the market, was publicly available. Originally thought it was like a new Google. I'm like, cool, well,
Right.
maybe I don't have to scour through all of these links. I can just have it summarized for me. So I played around with that for a little bit and quickly realized like, oh, like this is a game changer, right? This is going to be something way beyond searching. This is something that can actually become a partner and like an augmented process inside of our business. And I basically was like, with anything, I got my license when I was 16, which is weird because a lot of the kids of now generation don't want to do that. We
Yeah.
were like chomping at the bit to do it, but I drove my first car and I'm like, well, I got to understand how this thing works. So I started studying mechanics and started learning how the combustion engine works and transmissions and all this other stuff. So I did the same thing with the large language model. I was like, oh, this is amazing. I want to drive it every day. But if I'm going to drive it properly and I'm going to be able to operate it, I need to know how it works. So I went and got some certifications in like machine learning, prompt engineering, large language models, and all of that stuff just to get a foundational understanding of how this stuff works. Then I went back to the drawing board in real estate and I'm like, okay, where can I implement this? How
Mm-hmm.
can I turn this into my partner? And one of the first things I did was clone myself. So when I say clone myself, I know that sounds a little creepy, but all I did was I basically dumped all of my knowledge of what I want inside of the large language model, and then had it duplicate my speaking style based on how I'm talking to it. Once I did that, it was like, oh, now when I go to write an email drip campaign or respond to an email or create social media posts or any of that real basic stuff that we do with our in normal real estate life,
Right.
I could do it very quickly. Not only could I do it very quickly, but I could do certain things like utilizing advanced neuro linguistic programming, which I'm not educated on, but the CRM knows or the large language model knows. Right? I could avoid spam triggering language. I could avoid promotional language. I could tailor this stuff to where when I am sending out these emails, they're more likely to be delivered. They're more easily received by the clients themselves, and that just kind of led to one thing after another. So I started figuring out where can I implement this in each area of my business. And the more I did it, the more time I got back. And then that's like the big aha picture. It's like, oh, I
Mm-hmm.
can operate like a level of 10 with no employees, just having this AI utilized properly. So that was kind of my birth into AI. And ever since then, I just geek out on it. Like, I tell people all the time, like, hey, some people play video games. I study AI. Like,
Yeah.
that is my passion. That's what I spend my free time doing. And now that I realize the value that it can bring, a couple of awesome peeps out of the Wolfpack, like Louis Galt and Mike Sherrard, had told me, like, you need to spread the word on this. And they helped turn me into a coach. So here I am now. I still do production, but I predominantly coach agents on proper implementation of AI and ethical AI use and CRM usage. So,
Totally. With the coaching aspect, you talk a lot about Lofty
yeah.
CRM and AI integrations and things. So for the people watching, what does what or maybe what do you coach people on, or what does a daily workflow look like, from like lead to follow up to close while using these kind of AI systems or AI CRMs?
Yeah, so it's all practical applications, right? So let's go back to the online leads thing. Like I'll run an ad on Facebook, whether that's for like first-time home buyers, upsizers, new builds, whatever you want. I will tailor my follow-up based on how that lead comes in. So where a lot of agents go wrong is they'll run an ad, either PPC or Facebook, and it'll come in, and then there's these generic emails that go out, right? Thanks for signing up on my website. Well, I didn't sign up on your website. I signed up through Facebook, right?
Right.
And we lose people on this. Not only that, but these canned emails is what I call them when we go into our CRM and you just choose something from the library and put it to work. And people are like, oh, it doesn't work. You're like, well, exactly right. It doesn't work because it's not you. It doesn't have your sales style. It doesn't have the knowledge that you have. It doesn't understand you and how you help your clients. So when I created that clone, what I would do is use some of my prompt engineering knowledge that I gained, and I would train these chats to do certain things. So, like for example, I'd say, I want to create an ad in Facebook. So instead of just going in and prompting Chat GPT with like, hey, I'm a realtor, I need to run an ad in Facebook for first-time homebuyers, write me an ad. I would do a thing called role, goal, and context, which is a method that is pretty popular out there. There's a lot of different names for it. There's some companies that call it PPP. There's contextual prompting, but I call it RGC. So it's establishing a role for the AI model, establishing a goal for the outcome of that, and then feeding it massive amounts of context. So what that would look like in a real life scenario would be, I need you to act as an expert digital marketer specializing in the real estate industry and help me create ad copy for a Facebook ad that I'm going to run on my first time homebuyer program. Then I would upload my clone documents, which is everything about my business and my speaking style, and then tell it a little bit more. So I'm feeding it context. We set a role, we set a goal, and now I'm feeding it context. I'm like, look, I run a program-based ad. So this isn't like for a list of homes or for a buyer's guide. This is for my first time homebuyer program.
Hmm.
So I need to be able to get people to want to click this ad and learn more about the program. So then now the model understands exactly what I'm trying to do, and it writes my ad copy. And I get bunches of different types of ad copy, and I'll A/B test those inside of Facebook. And this is where most people would stop. They're like, great, got an ad. Awesome. I'll just go ahead and run that and see if leads come in.
Right.
Well, I'm like, what happens when the leads come in and they don't know where to go or they're not ready yet? So then I would basically take my model again, and now I put it into projects. So projects inside of Chat GPT are basically where I can use one system prompt, almost like a custom instruction. I can feed my cloning documents inside of that, and then I can create a lot of different chats around that. So what I would do is I would copy the ad copy that they made and I'd put it into a new chat and I'd say, this is the ad that I'm running on Facebook. I need you now to act as an expert digital marketer specializing in CRM follow-up on the Lofty CRM or whatever CRM you're using, right? My goal is to create a 10-day text campaign that would attempt to set a 15-minute appointment up with the lead who inquired about my first-time homebuyer program. Well, now it's going to go through, it's going to avoid the spam language, avoid the promotional language, give me the proper structure to where I don't end up being reported as spam. And then it builds that all out with all the variables for the CRM. And now I just copy, paste, copy, paste, copy, paste. Bam, that piece is done. Next step is like, okay, well, text isn't everything. Like, we need to send them some emails. What do I want to be in the email? So I'll start another chat with that same ad in it and say, now I want to create a 2-year drip campaign, sending 2 emails a month that's going to take the buyer through the virtual process of purchasing a home with no major calls to action and no psychological sales techniques. I just want to provide value. So then it'll give me an outline. So this is a process called chunking. This is
Hmm.
probably one of the parts where you want to pause the video and come back. But we chunk it down when we're doing large drip campaigns like this because the chat will get lazy. If I tell it to give me 48 emails, it's going to write me 48 very generic, poor written emails.
Right.
But if I tell it to give me an outline first based on the instructions that I gave it, then it outlines what each email will entail with a brief description, and it gives me all 48 emails. Then I go through one by one and have it write each email. The beauty about cloning yourself is that now these emails sound like me. They're in my style. So I'm like, what's up, dude? And all this other crazy stuff. But I'm giving them massive amounts of value. I'm telling them how a FICO score is determined. I'm telling them what debt to income ratio is. I'm walking them through that process virtually of buying a home. And the wild part is there's no real call to action on there, which most digital marketers like, you're insane. You're not going to close anybody like that because you're not telling them what to do.
Right.
Well, I would drop the value and just be like, if you got any questions, give me a call. I'm not here to rush you. I'll be here when you're ready. And that right there was the game changer in internet lead conversion for me, at least. So I would create that. then everybody would go on a property alert. So if you're not using a CRM that has a website facing it where we can automatically send properties, you're missing out big time. You need to research a CRM that can do that for you because this is a major lead conversion tool. And I'd send them on market snapshots, which is basically all of the active, pending, and closed for the last month in their area. And all of these pieces of the puzzle come together. And guess what? The only thing I have to do now is make the call, right? When the lead comes in through Facebook, I have them fill out a Facebook form because Facebook does not like you taking people off of Facebook, even though they'll let you drop a link to a website in and you can pull people off of Facebook. If you've ever clicked an ad that does that, you'll notice this box with big red writing comes up to make it look like you're going to a site that might have a virus. And it says, "Warning, you are about to leave Facebook. Are you sure you want to do this? Blah, blah, blah." So if you do a form, then they don't leave Facebook. They go straight on the form. And then I use Zapier, which is an integration program that has applications talk to each other. And Zapier will know what form they filled out. It'll automatically import it into Lofty with all of their information and apply a tag to it for like first time homebuyer program. All of those campaigns that I set up are triggered to go based on that tag. So as soon as the lead hits Lofty, the text campaign starts, the email campaign starts, it sets them up on the general area property alert and the market snapshot. So that all goes into motion. So now all I have to do is go in and call the lead. So if I can't make it in the first 5 minutes, which speed to lead is still key, my text goes out, right? So I get response to the text. Sometimes they don't respond. That runs for 10 days, takes a 60-day break, fires up with another campaign after that. I just kept building and building on this specific to exactly how they landed in there. So like that
Mhm.
text would say, "Hey, Alex, thanks for requesting more information about my first time homebuyer program on Facebook. When's a good time for us to chat for 15 minutes and see if this is a good fit for you?" Like super simple stuff, right? I'm not trying to qualify the leads through the text message because let's be honest, you don't want to be qualified via text. So why would a lead, right? We have to take that approach to it. And next thing you know, I'm getting leads in. The leads are actually answering the phone because they want to hear more about my program. And I could get them ready. So the ones that are ready, we go to pre-approval, put them under contract. The ones that aren't, I'm like, no problem. I'm going to send you a series of emails over the next couple of years. So you take your time and order when you're ready type thing. And it worked phenomenally. So I built my entire business on this, and it's still how I do it today. Like I literally am closing leads. I have a lead right now under contract on a home off of a Facebook ad I ran in 2020, and it's now October of 2025. So it's really possible to do this if you're utilizing AI the right way, ethically, and you know how to train it, which is what I teach in Apex Elite AI. And then we can run these leads through, and you can have a lot less ups and downs in your business and have a more predictable business with it.
Dude, wow. First of all, you guys need to rewind, go through, hit the slow down button and all that to gather what he just said. But I'll break it down a quick synopsis of generally what he's trying to tell you is he systematizes, he prioritizes, and then from there, you just repeat that process each step, right? But one thing that I want to kind of highlight here is you mentioned ethically, and
Yes.
I think that is a huge issue right now with people just throwing. Everyone's like, "Oh, just throw your document into ChatGPT, and it'll tell you." Scary for one, like don't throw your clients or your info on the internet like that.
Yeah.
Um, but with Apex AI, go ahead and shoot us a little plug on how you train differently, or maybe for like a brand new agent, or even an agent that's a top producer, kind of getting into this AI world that we're living in now. Um, how should they approach this, and what systems you have in Apex AI to guide them?
Yeah, no, absolutely. So this is a program, right? This isn't just a course. I call it an implementation system. So this is a systematized approach where I teach you basically my blueprint for how I do this, and also teach you the inner workings of artificial intelligence. So that way you can also utilize it for things that have worked for you in the past. So whether you're a new agent, top producing agent, tech savvy, or like most of us agents, not tech savvy, this implementation system works for everybody. So what I did is I created this implementation system for agents across all brokerages. And it's courses, it's mastermind calls, it's custom GPTs, it's prompt libraries, it's CRM training on whatever CRM you're on. It's my drip campaigns and all of that. But the real magic comes in me teaching you how to be a mechanic. And I know a lot of people watching are like, well, maybe I don't have time to do that. Well, the good thing is that you do have the time. Trust me. If you have time to go get Starbucks coffee every morning, then you have enough time to learn AI. And when you do it and you do it right, because one of the things I focus on is ethics, you would be absolutely flabbergasted how quickly I can break a model to violate fair housing laws without even having to really try to what we call prompt injecting. They don't know what we don't tell them, right? They're not
Mm-hmm.
mind readers. So a lot of agents will go out there and they'll just do these zero shot prompting techniques that do not have any substance for them. They won't provide context. And then they're throwing out stuff that's not only inaccurate, hallucinated AI responses, but that can violate major fair housing laws and RESPA laws. And if you find yourself a victim of this, you can't blame it on the AI. You can't be like, oh, well, sorry, I put it in Chat GPT and I didn't know. The Division of Real Estate and the National Association of Realtors is going to consider you to be the publisher of that content, and you will be held 100% liable on it. So I focus on teaching the people inside of my implementation group to do this the right way because look, everybody's starting to use it. And if everybody's using it wrong, it's going to get taken away, just like a lot of things in our society do. NAR's already cracking down on it. And if we don't try to teach as many people as we can how to do this ethically, then we may lose the opportunity to do this. And it's going to be a major disadvantage to your clients and a
Mm-hmm.
disadvantage to you and your business. Because what I do is not only save time on my end, but I improve the customer experience by being able to be there more for them with my chat bots that can answer their questions 24/7, with the knowledge that can be obtained very quickly, and all of these different things that I can do to improve their experience. So I tell agents this. If you haven't started using AI yet, you need to start to learn, and you need to learn it from somebody who actually knows what they're doing. What makes me different than most coaches is that I'm actually producing real estate, right? I'm not just telling you theory, I'm showing you what works because I do it in my business. And if you don't want to implement this, I have to ask you this one very confrontational question. How can you say you're being a fiduciary to your agent? If our job is to act in the best interest of our clients, and you know that technology exists that could dramatically improve their experience, dramatically improve your efficiency, and you choose not to use that based out of fear, are you really acting in your client's best interest? Right? Like you have to ask yourself that. And this isn't like a pitch to get you to go into AI, it's a reality.
Mm-hmm.
Like this will improve your business, this will improve their experience. Our job is that fiduciary. It's to put their best interests above ours. So we have to put that fear aside that AI is going to replace us. I can promise you right now, it's not replacing a real estate agent. It might replace a computer programmer. It might replace a customer service agent. It may even replace your TC, but it isn't going to replace you because there's still so much human level subjectivity inside the way that we value homes. I did a poll on Facebook the other day, and now this wasn't like thousands and thousands of people, but overwhelmingly, when I announced that Zillow has a new AI agent that will take
Mm.
you from beginning to end, do you know how many of my sphere and my people that are not in real estate want to use a robot for an agent? Zero.
Yeah.
They don't want it. This is a relationship business. So throw that fear away that you're getting replaced and start looking at it like you've got a new partner that's not going to cost you 50 grand a year. It's
There you
pretty
go.
awesome.
There you go. And you can get it all for free if you just partner with Adam or myself at EXP. But
Yep.
let's jump into that portion.
Cool.
Why EXP? And then why the organization that you're a part of and I'm a part of, why that organization?
So funny story. 10 brokerages since 2017. As you guys can tell by my background and by my demeanor here, I am not your average agent. Right. So I found myself in all of these different brokerages that were mainly focused on changing me. Adam, you should stop cussing all the time. You shouldn't use the F word in front of your clients. Like, you should shave your beard. You should wear a suit. I don't
Hell
think the
no.
company's really gonna jive with what the type of representation that you're bringing in. So I just kind of kept going through brokerages because I'm like, look, I fit somewhere in here. Most people like my personality, especially on the real estate sales side of thing. Realtors are like, oh my God, your energy, I love it. And my clients love me. Like, I fight for my clients and they love me. So I knew I was on the right track. So with that being said, I didn't really join EXP. And if anybody from EXP corporate's watching this, I love you guys. I love teaching for EXP University. I now love EXP, but I did not when I joined. I tell people that I didn't join EXP. I actually joined the Wolfpack, who happened to be associated with EXP. My love for EXP came later, once I got to experience what it was like. Because I was like most of you out there that aren't with EXP. They're like, all they do is recruit. Like, they don't do anything. They just recruit, and it's honestly kind of corny and cheesy. I had that same feeling, but when I had a set of Facebook ads that was going over what I like to spend on my cost per lead. So I was on Facebook, or I'm sorry, I was on YouTube looking for other ways to run Facebook ads, and I stumbled across Mike Sherrard's channel. And I watched it. I watched one of his Facebook ads tutorial, and I made a couple of adjustments to one of my ads, and I ran it. And no joke, like my cost per lead dropped dramatically. And I was like, cool. All right, I'm gonna start watching more of this dude. And he had this thing for sale, which all of us have something for sale. And it was the Social Agent Academy. It was like $1,000. And I'm like sitting here, I'm working at HomeSmart at the time. So I'm on 100% brokerage, which bred laziness. So if you guys are thinking, oh, I'd like 100% brokerage, trust me, it'll just make you lazy.
Yeah.
Paying the splits is actually a real good kick in the butt to get you going and getting more deals, which will benefit you in the long run. So I'm lazy and I start not want I wanted the Social Agent Academy because I knew I had to get on social media a little bit better and really get my YouTube going. And I was sitting there with the credit card in my hand and I'm like, do I have the money for this right now? Like, I didn't have a budget. I wasn't treating my business like a business. I was treating it like most realtors do, like a gig. I get paid, I put a little bit aside for taxes, and we go spend the rest of the money, right? Raise your
Yeah.
hand if you do that. So I didn't have a big budget. So I was like, you know what? I'm not going to swipe my card on this right now. I'm going to sleep on it. The next day, I popped on another YouTube video, and this little banner came across the screen that said, "Hey, if you explore a partnership with me, you can get access to Social Agent Academy and more training for free." So I was like, "Oh, sweet!" Click that calendar link in a heartbeat. Booked a call. Mike was actually on the phone when the call occurred, so I was a little starstruck there for a minute. I was like,
Yeah.
"Oh,
Right.
nice, Mike Sherrard's there, cool, dude. Hey, thanks, man. I did your tutorials." And he's like, "Hey, I think you'd be a really good fit for the Wolfpack. I want to hook you up with Louie and Jeremy. They're in your area." So then I met with Louie and Jeremy, and I knew right away I was home. These guys were like, dope, let's get you on, let's get you helping produce. So I signed up, and that was kind of how I ended up at the Wolfpack and EXP. But that was just the very beginning, dude. Like, I
Yeah.
joined for Social Agent Academy, and Mike, I love Social Agent Academy. It's an awesome program, but it's honestly a very small piece of the puzzle what creates the community that I ended up finding myself in the middle of. People who actually care and not just care to get you producing deals so they can get paid. They care because they actually have this strange addiction to watching people succeed.
Mm-hmm.
Sounds weird, right? Especially in real estate, but it's real and it's true. And from March of 2023, when I joined, to October or almost November of 2025, what it is now, I went from one source of income to five sources of income. I'm a top coach on the Lofty CRM in the entire world. I'm one of the very few Lofty certified coaches out there. I run Apex Elite AI, one of the top AI coaching platforms and implementation systems in the country. And it was all because these dudes pushed me into it, man. They pushed me to do this because they actually cared and they took nothing. They literally took nothing from me.
Yeah, and they saw something that you didn't, right?
Yeah. I
And
thought
that
everybody was
and
playing with AI.
right, and that's what it takes though. That's what it takes for a lot of us is someone on the outside to go, "Hey, you probably don't realize you have X, Y, or Z skill or passion or whatever. Let's go do this thing," and,
Yeah.
and not only to mention that, like the Wolfpack is definitely the reason why I'm at EXP. Would I be somewhere else? Maybe, but the value, the camaraderie, the family, all of it, what you just spoke about with the Wolfpack, that's why I'm here. That's what retains me at EXP.
Yeah.
Um, but what's even more insane is, you always have to be with people that are a level above you, right?
Yes.
To keep pushing and keep going further so you don't get lazy. Don't go to the Home Smart. I was there too. That place is terrible. I digress. But at the Wolfpack, there's always someone doing something that you want to do at an extremely high level. And so,
Yep.
guys, I'm going to wrap this up because I think they need to rewind and go gather all of that value that you dropped on just a simple structure of how you get a lead and how you take it to closing. But there's so much value in that. So go rewatch that. But if you want to hook up with Adam and all his systems and get Apex Elite AI completely free by just simply partnering, his call link will be down in the description. If you want all my system knowledge and how we can systematize your business on my end and how I can help you use guerrilla marketing and creative marketing systems to grow, and then you integrate those all together with AI, which my man Matt Adam will show you exactly how to do. Um, all my info will be down below. But Adam, any last parting words, last little bits for someone thinking about making the jump?
Dude, do it. What do you got to lose? If you're thinking about making a jump, it's clearly not working where you're at right now. So do what I did. Don't be afraid to hit 10 brokerages in less than however, 7 years, 8 years. Like I did it. I knew there was a spot for me and there's definitely a spot for you. And there's a pretty high likelihood that you could make it work here because there's nothing like the camaraderie and the support in any of the 10 brokerages I've ever been with until I found the pack. So just do it. Just do it. And like Alex said, like book a call. Like it's not like we're going to force you to join. We can just show you a little bit more deeper into what we do. And the cool thing about me over here on Apex, I can't speak for Alex on this because we are all in the Wolfpack, but we all have our own individual things. But I'll give you a 2 week free trial. Like you
There
want
you
to come hang
go.
out on my calls for 2 weeks, like hit me up. Like you can jump on for 2 weeks. If you once you see the vibe, you're gonna be like, oh yeah, all right, maybe we need to take this further. So thank you so much for posting my links in the description below. And guys, just do it. Just go for it, man. What do you got to lose?
That's it. Thanks so much, Adam. Reach out, guys. We'll talk
Thanks,
to you
Alex.
later.
Appreciate you,
See ya.
dude.